All right, welcome back to the podcast. All three of you that are tuned in, we got a really special treat today. We got Lonnie Cox.
What's up, dog? Good to be here.
Yeah, it's a great last name, dude.
Thank you.
That's an alpha last name. Did you get picked on for having that name?
I did a little bit for sure. My dad got it the worst. So my dad's name is Rusty. Rusty
No
Cox.
way,
Yes.
Rusty Cox. Russell Cox.
No, just his real name is Douglas, but he prefers Rusty.
Why would he go? I mean, why would he do that to himself?
I have no idea. It was his my grandpa gave him that nickname.
Yeah.
And he
just stuck with it.
Rode with it ever since.
That's the thing. It's like when Cox is already your last name, you might as well just ride it out.
Go hard. My grandpa supposedly did it to make my dad tough.
Yeah, do you like nicotine?
Dude, that's so funny. I have the exact same.
You're the first one. Usually people are don't know what's going on here.
Literally.
I had this out. Dude, citrus. Oh, you go 6 milligrams. I can't handle 6 milligrams. No. Well, I mean, I could, but I don't want to get down that. I don't want to go down that path because I know it's just gonna make me want it more.
Well, I'm on Zins to get off vape, and I got on vape to get off cigarettes.
There you go.
So I'm like,
I feel like this is the healthiest option
for sure because it's just straight nicotine supposedly.
Yeah,
and it doesn't say anything about cancer.
No, nothing about cancer.
So,
I forgot to wear my sunglasses. Usually I have sunglasses. You want sunglasses?
No, I'm good, dude.
All right, we can go get you some.
Yeah,
if you need some.
get your.
All right, now we're in the zone,
fucking persona
baby.
going. There you go.
Now let's fucking get into it. But yeah, I feel like when your name is already Cox, it's like you're already gonna get it anyway. So you might as well just you might as well have like Tiny be your first name or something.
Tiny, Rusty, absolutely. Do you have a tough dad?
I have a tough dad. Yeah.
What does your dad do for a living?
My dad sells insurance.
Insurance.
Yeah, we were talking about jobs before this, and I'm in the insurance sales. The thing is, I've tried to avoid it my whole life, and then you just end up being like your parents at the end of the day.
Well, I mean, I'd like to avoid some of my fatherly traits, but
maybe take some of the strengths and not the weaknesses.
For sure, that would be nice.
But yeah, my dad sold insurance probably 40, 45 years. I don't know.
What makes him a tough dad?
He was very just stern. Yeah, I think. Yeah, kind of. He was like
guy.
He played football in college.
Okay.
He was like an offensive lineman.
Holy shit.
Which is weird because I'm fucking me. I'm my size. But
where did your dad play football?
He played at like a Division III school, Bowdoin.
But he's a big boy.
He was big back in the day, but now he's not. But I remember even all my cousins said this. Like as kids, we all thought he was massive.
Right.
Because he was just like terrifying.
I also thought my dad was massive. And my dad's like 5'8". So,
really?
Yeah. When I was a kid, you see your dad's like fucking giant.
Yeah.
But,
how big are you?
6'2", I guess.
Damn, dude, so many tall, strapping men in here. I've had Grant. He's about 6'7".
Yep.
Sean Kett.
Yes.
And then Thomas LaMountain, all like 6'3" and above.
I don't know.
All handsome.
I don't know Thomas.
Tom's a male model.
Yes. Is he from Nebraska?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's crazy, huh? To be a male model.
That is crazy.
You ever think about getting into that?
When I was a kid, people would come up to me in the mall and they'd be like,
squeeze your cheeks.
Yeah, squeezing cheeks, pull me into the bathroom, stuff like that.
I could see that. So you basically were a child model.
Yeah,
just never made it to the big screen.
No, I didn't have what it takes.
Yeah, that is tough to. I was saying I did that as a kid too. I think I did like one shoot for this store called Maurice the Pants Man.
Okay.
And they didn't pay us, but I remember I think my mom took us all down there because we had a bunch of kids. And I think my sister was going down there to like try out for the modeling thing, and they didn't take her. But they're like, we want these two boys.
Maurice the Pants Man was
which in hindsight seems a little weird that they were like, give us those little cuties.
Mm-hmm.
So we were just like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. And they didn't pay us. They're like, we're not going to pay them, but they can keep all the clothes they're modeling. So I think I got like a Dallas Cowboys sweatshirt and like corduroys.
Nice.
And that was the end of my modeling career.
Oh, but you got a Dallas Cowboys sweatshirt.
Exactly. And I hated actually, I didn't even know if I hated the Cowboys, but I do.
You hate them now?
Of course.
Because you're a Pats fan.
Yeah, you have to hate the Cowboys.
Sure.
Although we don't really have like a beef with the Cowboys.
No.
It never got to that point. Who's your team?
Cowboys.
Really?
Yeah, my dad's from Texas.
No shit, dude. We might have to come to fisticuffs.
I hope not.
That would be good. That would be good entertainment.
I don't want to see whose dad made it. Which one of
made
us
us
tougher?
Yeah,
I don't want to find out.
I'd be like crying in the corner. That'd be pretty sad.
I've never been in a fist fight in my entire life.
Me neither, dude.
No, never been punched. Well, that's not true. I got punched in the face one time playing football, like flag football in college.
Yeah.
Just like he like shivved me in the face trying to like block me, and I pushed him and he punched me in the face, and they separated it. But like, yeah, never really. I mean, I played high school football, right? So there's a lot of like,
Yeah, there's mix-ups. There's mix-ups, yeah.
like I've, slapped helmets and stuff like that. But yeah, never been in a fist fight. Not my jam.
Yeah, I don't know either. I think I'm just good at like avoiding confrontation. I think when
Yeah.
you're small, you're just kind of like always like, all right. But yeah, now that I'm older, I'm like, damn, I should have gotten it. I definitely had some chances, but I was kind of like, why?
Right.
Like, I never felt passionate enough to.
Well,
Like,
it
I wasn't
never
going to
made
do it
sense
over
to
like
me.
a girl. I remember people doing it over girls, and that was like a big thing. Like, everybody would plan it. And it would always be like on the last day of school.
Sure.
And there'd be a big crowd. That was awesome.
Yeah.
But I was like, damn, I would not. If you get your ass kicked there, I still remember all the fights and who won and who lost.
Right.
And
It's
I'm like,
burned into your memory.
forever.
Yeah, of course. And if you would have lost,
I would have sucked. And
people
I
would be
definitely
talking
would've
about you on a podcast.
And it was like in middle school, the kids would like cry if they lost.
Yeah.
And sometimes in high school, I think they might not be crying, but they're definitely
Sure.
teary eyed, and that sticks with you.
Yeah.
You know,
You never want to see a grown man cry. It's not
it
something.
is weird to fight over a girl like that, and then at the end of it, like, does the girl just go home with the winner? Or how
Right.
does that?
I mean, the thing with fighting to me, especially in like school, was like, we're going to fight and then I'm just going to see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we're just going to have to like maintain our schedules as is. It just never made sense to me. I was like, it's not worth it.
Dude, I still feel awkward about like beefs that I had with kids that like dated my girlfriend after I dated her, or we were like trying to date the same girl at the
Yeah.
same time. And I'm like, how cringe is that to think about now that if you saw that person, be like,
Dude,
hey man, do we still have beef from fucking 8th grade? Are we cool?
That's fun. I've never really thought of it, but there is, if I think of some of those guys in
Yeah.
my head, I do still hate them.
Yeah,
But probably just
exactly.
because I've never gone back as an adult.
Right.
And
be
like,
oh, they're probably
reshuffled
just
my
normal.
feelings. Yeah.
Yeah, probably just normal people living a normal
Yeah.
life.
Just doing what they were doing,
Yeah.
I mean, I was just like, it's your first, for me, it was my first girlfriend in high school.
Right.
And we would like break up. She'd date other people. We'd come back. She'd
Yeah.
break up, date other people.
Yeah.
And I just remember being like fucking torn over it when I
Yeah.
was 15, 16.
Right.
And now, it's funny enough, now she actually works for the Miami Heat. So
Really?
she gives me Heat tickets all the time. I get to go to the finals for free.
See, that's what happens if you end it like a gentleman.
Exactly.
You're not like a psycho at the
Yes.
end of it. That's why you got to always keep your cool. But it's tough to do that when you're in like nobody teaches you. We didn't have Andrew Tate back then to teach us how to treat a woman. You know,
Yeah. Are you an Andrew Tate guy?
I do like Andrew.
You
Tate.
do?
I do listen to a lot of his stuff,
Okay.
and I think a lot of his stuff is very useful.
What do you get from it?
I get one thing I really like about it is how he's like, yeah, nobody gives a shit. As a guy, you have no value until you like make your own value.
Sure.
Whereas women are just inherently how kind of everybody's always like, oh, it's so easy for women. They just go out and they get all this shit. It's like, yeah, that's part of the deal. But if you're a guy, it's so much more rewarding because you have to work for that same that same thing that they get just inherently. If you're a guy, you gotta go out and work for it.
Sure.
And like nobody, it is true. Like in life, like you're feeling down and shit like that. It's like nobody cares about a sad man.
Especially a white dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a shit. And it's like it's kind of nice to hear that because it's like, oh yeah, nobody gives a shit.
Well, so there's one, I will say one thing that I do agree with, which is that like, and you can say what you want about this, but this is true.
Yeah.
Like there are certain lessons that men need to learn from other men.
Right.
Like there are things like my parents divorced. Like I mostly was with my mom.
Your
but,
fault, probably.
But like, yeah, absolutely. 100%. I'm glad I did it. I'd do it again. But like my dad taught me things that like my mom wouldn't have ever been able to get across.
Right.
Like my dad's Texan
He's a man.
cowboy dude, right? So
Right.
it's like when my dad is saying like stand up straight, like talk with your chest. Like there's just certain things. The thing about Andrew Tate is that like I think that like a lot of people hear guys like that and they're like, oh, that means money.
Right.
But in my mind, like I don't have a ton of money. I'm not poor, but I don't have a ton of money to just like throw around to pick
Right,
up
and
chicks
bitches,
with.
yeah.
But basically, my version of what you just said is more like my personality,
Right,
Which is something to
confidence.
offer,
Yeah.
and also just like being like I listen, like I'm. One thing I always heard is like if you can't be interesting, be interested.
Right.
So I
That's a
always
big
like
one.
take that into my conversations with people and.
That's a big one I do on dates. If I can't think of anything to say, it's just ask questions about
questions.
them, and then people will be like, "Wow, what a cool, nice guy."
'Cause I
And
will
it's
tell you
really,
this,
I
this
was
is a
just-
trick.
I was just in a short of words to say. So-
Sure. Yeah, you don't have to be interesting. This is the thing: is nobody gives a shit what you have to say most of the time.
Unless you're like world's most interesting man. Yeah,
Right.
you probably don't have any stories that these girls haven't already
Correct.
heard.
And
Heard
most
everything.
people, girls or guys, they want to talk about themselves.
Right.
And if you give people an avenue to talk about themselves,
Right.
sometimes they will surprise you and be like, oh, so tell me about you. Like, what about you? How do you feel about this? And those are the dates or the people that I enjoy. That's how it is with my girlfriend now.
Right.
That's what attracted me to her in the first place. But like, I enjoy getting to know people. People have interesting stories. And then I love being like, I'm done with you and
Right.
moving on.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, if you got to ask certain questions to figure that out.
Another thing I like about Tate is he says no matter what mood I'm in, I'm doing the same thing. He's like, it doesn't matter if you're sad, happy, you still got to do the same shit.
Sure.
He's like, so that's another thing. Like the pursuit of happiness, I think was always like a thing. I'm like, eventually, like I'm gonna find a thing that makes me happy. But it's like, no, it doesn't matter. Happiness needs to be like lower down on your priorities, and that
Yes.
will just happen. It's more likely to happen when it's down there. If your goal is happiness, he's like, girls can have that goal.
Sure.
Like a lot of girls just want to be happy, and you can see that in a lot of women, and they're good at it. They're just like happy all the time. They find out what makes them happy and they do it. But yeah, if that's not a priority, he's like, I wake up, I do the same shit every day. I don't be like, oh, am I happy today? Am I sad?
He doesn't
today?
let
It's
his
like,
mood
yeah, it's like,
affect
I'm
his
gonna
discipline, basically.
Right.
I mean, I always thought that the pursuit of happiness is bullshit because, like, who the fuck, like, it's totally ridiculous to think that you're going to be happy 100% of the time.
It is crazy to be like, yeah, when people are like,
And
be
what
happy.
a boring fucking life that would be of just like,
Oh, I'm happy all the
I'm
time.
happy all the time.
Yeah.
I don't want to be happy. I always would tell people, I tell my therapist, right? I don't want to be happy necessarily, but I want to be fucking even, right?
Yeah.
Like if I'm happy or sad, I want to be able to like snap back to center
Right.
faster and not
Present.
have my life like swing on either
Super
side.
happy, super depressed.
Exactly.
Win the lottery, lose it.
Exactly.
Yeah. That is the thing, man. It's like, yeah, pursuing happiness, I think, was another thing that I learned from him. That it's just like, yeah, that shouldn't be the goal. The goal should be figure out like what you want to do in life and go after it and do it. But don't worry about like happiness because you're never going to get to happiness. You know, no
Sure.
matter how much you do, you can be happier. You can accomplish things, and that's great. But then it's like you gotta keep making progress. Otherwise, you're never going to reach this state that we like think exists. That might
Because
not
it's
exist.
bullshit.
Right.
Right. I think the whole thing is bullshit. I mean, listen, dude, I'm not a big Andrew Tate fan, but I like if you like people get messages from whatever.
Right.
And that's what's important. If you get messages from people, who knows? You know, I got a fucking great message from a fucking stupid TV show one time, Modern
Yeah.
Family, where the grandpa was saying something like, basically along the lines of like, you don't know what you're good at until you find out what you're bad at.
Yeah.
Right. Which is basically along the lines of just try shit. And if you're not good at it, either get better or move on to something that you enjoy. But you
Right.
don't know you're bad at something until you fucking try, which is what I was with comedy. Right. Because like, I didn't know if I was going to be good or bad at it.
Right. Right. Yeah, the comedy's a big one where it kind of exposes all your insecurities, all your flaws. Because some people are good pretty quick, but like everybody's pretty bad
Oh yeah.
for a while, and it's like you just got to sit in the bad and yeah, kind of embrace it and be like, yeah,
And learn. And if you're fucking not a narcissistic lunatic, just be like, yeah, okay, these are some things I have to improve about myself.
And I wasn't used to that because I'm not like I'm really good at everything, but like I can pick up a thing and be
I'm the
decent
same
at
way.
it.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm
I'm an
the same way.
athlete. I can pick shit up. In comedy, it's just like none of that
Yes.
matters.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know?
because that's the thing. People don't understand. It's a skill, right? You have to build it up. It's not something you're just going to be good at. And
Right.
you got to work at it. The people you see that are good at anything have to work at it. Fucking LeBron James didn't just pick up a basketball
Right.
and become LeBron James. Like he's fucking working his ass off to get to that point.
Yeah, the amount of hours that they put
Correct.
in is like insane. Where people are like, yeah, I want to be good at something, but it's like you have to dedicate so many. Like when you start doing comedy, you don't realize like how much time, how much of your life is going to be dedicated to it if you want to do it. If you want to do it like as for fun or whatever, it's like all right, but that's not. I don't know how people do that. Like just
do
kind
it
of
as
do
a
it on the
hobby.
side. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I always said like, listen, there's different strokes for different people. Like if different people have different goals, they do things for different reasons. Like, dude, there's a ton of comics. I don't know if you know any of them, but that live up north that they're all like attorneys and they're like, they did it for years. They've got a ton of money, but now they're like, fuck that. And I want to do comedy.
Good for them.
Or
I've
some,
never-
there's a doctor up there and there's just like people that
Really?
are like, yeah, the thing that I thought was going to make me happy isn't making me happy, so I got to go do something else.
Right.
So it's comedy.
And comedy is like the thing. It's like a good creative outlet.
And
like,
it's a great social network.
Great social network, because like if you want to play an instrument or something, you're going to be alone a lot of the time.
Right.
And before you like, I wouldn't even know how to go about it. Like if you're like, yeah, I want to play the piano, and then I want to go be a concert pianist. It's like that. That's probably like 5 years of work by yourself.
Or just being born in China.
Exactly.
Then, just like getting after it.
Yeah. Or you learn a skill as a kid. That's when you got to learn shit. You know? Like I'm trying to learn Spanish right now,
it's
and I'm like,
impossible, dude.
God damn, I wish I knew. I
Do you
wish
have a
I knew to
teacher?
study. I do Duolingo. I should get a teacher.
That's how Grant learned Spanish.
I know. I'm impressed that he actually knows it. He's like, yeah, I just got a teacher, and now I speak with her every Friday, and we
Right.
practice. And he could do like comedy sets in Spanish.
Yeah, I know. He speaks Spanish. I
crazy.
mean, I remember meeting him being like, oh, yeah, I just got a Spanish teacher. And then him being like
Yeah.
speaking Spanish, and me fucking living in Miami my whole life just being like, fuck, I
Yeah,
can't speak
like,
Spanish
goddamn.
yet.
But
yeah.
the thing is, I feel like we're going to be able to download it soon into our brains.
Oh,
so I'm just waiting
I don't
for
know
that.
if I want that,
I know,
dude.
like I'm going to put in a bunch of effort, and then they'll be like, oh, you can just download this right now.
It'll just cost $50,000. Would you do it? Would you spend $50,000?
I think it might be easier to make $50,000 than to learn Spanish right now.
Oof.
I don't know. Maybe not.
The thing is, dude, is I had an ex-girlfriend that did that too. She learned Spanish from a teacher. Like she got a tutor.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way to do it. I think you have to have like one-on-one counseling, like to figure it out, and then you have to go out and practice. The good thing is we live in Miami, so you can practice anywhere.
Endless opportunities.
We don't live in like fucking Iowa, so you can actually go out
Yeah.
and just practice. Literally, just go down the street right there.
No, anywhere. I actually tell myself when I go into like a coffee shop that I'm gonna practice Spanish,
Yeah.
and I just can't do because it feels like I'm like placating or what. It feels like I'm an idiot, like trying to be like, oh, una cafe. Por
So you have like
favor."
imposter syndrome about
Yeah.
trying to learn Spanish. I mean, I can do enough of that. Like I speak enough Spanish to order food or whatever. Like I can kind of get around a little bit. But yeah, if I like go when I've been to Mexico and I was like a little drunk, I'm like, I can speak Spanish.
Yeah.
But it was that thing that you're talking about, like that kind of went away, my inhibition filter.
Right.
And
You're
it was
like,
just
I
like
sound stupid right
the
now. It's
ability
just
to
like,
just
yeah.
kind of converse. And people, it's like, dude, if somebody was trying to speak English to you that didn't speak English, you'd be like, absolutely. Like just,
Yeah, give it a shot.
Yeah,
We can
absolutely.
figure
Let's
this
try.
out.
Like,
Yeah.
it's the same thing. People don't care. You know?
I know enough to be dangerous in like the initial conversation. Like I've met a few girls and I've spoken to them in Spanish, and then I've gotten them to come out on dates, and they only speak. I'm like, oh, they must speak a little English, and they speak zero English.
How did that go?
We'll just use the translator app the whole time. The entire time. It's a lot of laughing, actually. It's very funny. I've done it a couple times, and it's a lot of. It's fun, but it can only it's never obviously worked out.
Yeah, you can't like get to the like behind the layer of
yeah,
the surface.
I'm like,
I
okay,
think, with
this
the
is
Google
silly.
Translate app.
This is funny, but yeah, it's never.
Your girl doesn't speak a lot of Spanish.
My girl.
I mean, your girl doesn't speak a lot of English, does she?
She was my girl. Thanks for bringing it up.
Oh, sorry, dude.
No, it's not your fault. When you came in here, I said, yeah, me and my girl got this place.
Right.
But I never finished the story.
Oh.
And then she jumped off the balcony.
Oh,
She's
did
not
you
here.
push her?
She was having so much fun here. She hopped off the balcony.
Fuck,
and
dude,
she
the
loved
Andrew
it here
Tate
so
experience.
much. Gave her the full Andrew Tate.
Yeah, dude, you got the whole cam girl set up right here.
I could have done it, dude.
You should have.
I wish I thought about that. That would have been good. Yeah, she's been here for like 3 years. So she but her English was really good. Like we would practice for like at night we would practice for a few minutes, and then after a while it was just like, all right. I was too slow and it was too like
it's frustrating,
infuriating
yes.
for her. And then I would just eventually speak. I mean, it's tough enough to keep a conversation going in English for me. You know, never mind being like, and then when it gets to Spanish, I'm just like, it's so simple. It's like, what did you do today? Where are you from?
Are you an anxious guy? Are you in your head a lot?
Probably.
Yeah. I think that's pretty common with comedians.
Yeah. I don't know what my problem is.
You don't?
I've yet to
anxious as fuck.
diagnose myself. I've got ADHD. That's the one thing I've been diagnosed with.
Okay.
Or ADD.
Okay.
'Cause I'm obviously not that hyper. But otherwise, maybe it's just like scatterbrain. Like I get obsessed with one thing. Maybe it's autism too. Obsessed
Okay.
with one thing, and then forget about that, and then obsessed with another.
Sure.
Obsessed with another thing.
Like it's hard for you to like see things through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big time.
I think that's a classic ADD thing.
Yeah.
I have ADD like a motherfucker.
But also, yeah, it might be like when things get difficult, I'm like,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, you hit the wall. and
Yeah,
you're
you
like,
hit the
yeah,
wall.
this isn't fun anymore. Now it's actually like
Yeah, it's
the
work.
learning thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like.
But that's the problem. Like me, if you're not great at something right away, it's like, fuck that.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like clearly this isn't my calling.
Right.
But then
Instead
it's
of
like,
just
but what is my
having to
calling?
spend 10,000 hours like learning this thing.
Yeah,
What was the last thing that you were super fixated on but gave up on?
Piano.
Piano.
I was big into
Okay.
piano. Yeah, for a little bit.
That's right. I
During-
asked you to
during-
play piano at the Globe, and you're like, I actually can play a little piano.
Could now I don't know. I did it during COVID.
Okay.
I think that was a great time to like pick shit up. You know.
Yeah,
was
I
playing
picked up
I was playing
intense
online poker. I
anxiety.
was doing. Oh really?
Oh, dude, I couldn't smoke weed anymore.
really?
Oh, dude, I smoked weed every day for a decade.
Yeah.
And then when the pandemic came, I would smoke, and I'd just be like in my room and not knowing like what the world is going to look like in 3 months. And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
I can't fucking do this.
Oh, I was the opposite. I was just like chilling. I was having a great time.
I did love not having any social obligations. Like that felt great. Not having to like really work that hard for the first couple months. And
Yeah.
like really just being like, okay, I'm going to like chill and just get really fucking good at Call of Duty.
Yeah.
That was fun. I mean, I did like that. But eventually it got to the point where I was like, I got to get the fuck out of here. This is going to become my
You
life.
can only do that so many days. Where
Yeah.
you're like, all right, now I'm officially a lazy piece of shit.
I mean, I trend lazy, right? Like
Yeah.
my natural state is lazy. So if I don't like actively fight that shit all the time, I'm just going to fucking.
Yeah. I think I'm kind of the opposite. Like I need to always be doing something. That was a big problem with me and my girlfriend is I like can't sit down and like watch TV. I'm like I feel like I gotta go do something. I
Sure.
gotta go do a comedy show, even though I know it's gonna suck.
Right.
Even though I know there's gonna be 5 people there, it's like I feel like if I don't do it, then I'm following. Then it's like you're making a concession that you can make again and keep making that.
I mean, so I used to be a classic like Miami bailer. Like I'd make plans and then I'd just try to wiggle my way out of it.
Dude, you're like a hot chick in Miami.
Yes, that's right. It's it is a Miami thing. I don't know what it is.
I would hate to be trying to fuck you right now. I'd be
Yeah,
like,
well,
God damn it.
Who says that you're worthy of the Cox? But yeah, when I started doing comedy, even the shitty shit, I started in Boca, dude. So I used to drive all the way up every week, sometimes a couple times a week to do shows. And if people would ask me, it's the same thing. It was like, no, I don't want to start this fucking slippery slope where things starts being okay for me to cancel on shows
Right.
and stuff like that. So I really made it a point to, if I say I'm going to be somewhere, go, I've canceled on shows, you know, like there's some times where I'm just like, there's no fucking way this is happening.
Yeah.
So, or shit just comes up. But yeah, like that was one of the first times in my life that I was like, I'm going to stick to this thing. And people like it, right? People are, oh, you're reliable, you show up,
Yeah.
you know.
The best ability is availability. You know.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I've heard that. I made that up just now. I just thought
That wasn't an Andrew Tate.
He's probably said it.
Yeah,
he said a lot
fuck.
of. He said
Fucking
a lot,
Andrew Tate. He
he's
takes
got a
all
lot
the
of
good sayings.
He's got a lot of good quotes. But yeah, that was a big thing in our relationship that didn't work out. It was just like because in the beginning of the relationship, when you're like pursuing a woman, you'll make every concession in the
Correct.
world. So you kind of set the tone there. That's another Andrew Tate thing. Is like you got to set the tone early as to how the relationship's going to be.
Sure.
And yeah, that's kind of where I fucked up. Where I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, I can take
The
nights
least
off to hang out with you.
facade
And then
as
I was like, no, I
possible.
can't take nights off.
Right.
You know. So yeah, I don't know. Relationships are tough. How long you been with your lady for?
We're
or
about
guy?
to be. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to word this, but the timing has gone. So I was going to say
She
me
has
and
a
they,
different
me
time,
and they
yeah.
are about a year. So we're about to do 1 year on the 14th, 13th
Okay. Good for you.
of July.
Yeah, we almost made it. We were like 8 months.
Okay.
So good for you. The
How
year
did you two meet?
we met at a park in New York City,
Nice.
Washington Square Park.
That's romantic. I love
It was.
Washington Square Park.
Yeah, there was
I
a
almost
lot of-
ran into Alec Baldwin's stroller.
Really?
Yeah.
A lot of crackheads, a lot of crazy people going on.
Fucking
And
street urchin
I was like,
kids
this
skateboarding.
This girl looks pretty drugged up on fucking meth right now. Why don't
Uh-huh.
I go chat with her? And the rest.
And then
the rest
there you
is
go.
it. And
Now
now
you're in
here I
Miami.
am.
Did you move down here because of her?
She wanted to. It was entirely her idea.
Really?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
had you ever been here?
I'd been to like visit, maybe like once.
Just like to party.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I don't really party that hard. I just kind of come
Sure.
places and hang out.
Okay.
I'm not really a partier. I'm not really a fun partier.
No.
You know, I mean, I can, but I'm. Yeah, that's another thing. When people are like, "Oh, just like have fun," I'm like, I don't know what that.
Right.
I don't know what that is.
Sure.
You know,
Are
that's
you-
another thing that's like fleeting. It's like moment to moment.
Yeah, you can especially in a place like Miami, like there's always another thing to have to fucking go to.
Right.
Like my friend is a painter, right? So Art Basel is like fucking
It's crazy.
It's literally just like event. And when I was younger, it was like, sure, absolutely. Like let's
Do
stay
it all.
out till 6 o'clock in the morning every day for an entire week.
Yeah.
And now happily at 33, I like look at my watch and I'm like, it's midnight. I've done 2 things.
Let's get out of
I'm
here.
done. Like
Yeah.
I feel confident and just being like, whatever I'm gonna miss is not as good as just me being able to relax and get a
Right.
good night's rest or
Oh yeah, that's another thing. Sleep. If I don't sleep well, like the next day, I'm fucked. So
sleep
I
is
need-
my fucking biggest problem.
Yeah.
I'm like I think my natural rhythm, if you just let me go, would be like 4 a.m. to noon.
Yeah.
So I am like a very, very late person. So, but that just doesn't fit into fucking society
Yeah, in
at
life. I know.
all. Are you an early guy or you're a
I
late
can
guy?
get up early. I try to go to bed maybe like midnight-ish.
Okay. And you're up at
Get
what,
up at
6,
like
7?
7.
7.
Yeah.
No,
but on a weekend, I mean, I'll sleep till like 10.
I just can't. I cannot turn my brain off when it's time to go to sleep. Like,
Isn't it weird? The world's just not set up for you. It's probably somewhere it is. I got a buddy.
I told you I have a weird fact, not to cut you off, but I
Yeah,
told you I have a weird
please.
fact.
Weird
So here's a
facts are
weird fact.
always-
I read this that apparently it biologically makes sense that some people would be up later, so that if we were in a tribe, right, at night there would still be people awake.
Right. So you've got those. You got
And then
those
you'd have people that
genetics.
wake up super early.
Right.
So it would like overlap,
That's why
basically,
there's
that people would always be
morning
awake.
People, night owls.
Yes.
Yeah. I can see that. That
Yeah.
makes sense. Because yeah, I mean, there's no reason why we have to go to bed at certain times. Although, like, yeah, why does the sun always set? Aren't our bodies designed that when the sun sets, we're supposed to get tired? Like
If we're supposed to, if we were waking up before it got up,
Right.
You know, like if we were like tending to the farm,
Yeah.
like I think,
yeah, it's crazy how a lot of shit is based on like farm
or just like
things.
work in general,
Yeah,
is just like how our
farm,
lives are supposed to work.
caves, and we've never like evolved past that.
No, it's my dad grew up like that, right? My dad was like a fucking cowboy dude, so he still wakes. He'll wake up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, like he's just up. And I'm like, dude, I can't. I don't know how. Like when he still lived here, like I would be going to sleep when he would be getting up.
Yeah.
And we were just, it was just such a wild thing to see somebody. He would like go, wake up, go to the gym, come back, feed the dogs, walk the dogs. Like his whole day by 9 o'clock in the morning,
Right.
he had half of his day already.
So much already accomplished.
And I'm just like, fuck you. Like, I hate that, you know?
That is a nice thing. When you get up early and nobody else is up, you just feel a sense of accomplishment just by getting up that early.
But I feel that's because my dad always says that, right? There's that peace of the morning when nobody else is up yet.
There's no traffic on the road.
There's no trap. But I feel that at night.
Yeah,
I
that's
feel
true,
that at 2 a.m.
Right.
Where it's like, this is my time
So you still get that.
to do my own thing.
Yeah.
Because I don't like to, like, I don't know how you are, but like when I wake up in the morning, I wake up at the last fucking second.
Yep.
And then I just go to start. I don't like
Right.
wake up, have coffee, read the newspaper, take a shower, go to yoga. Like when I'm up, I'm moving.
It's go
Like,
time, baby.
Whatever I try to get as much sleep as possible.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, at night is my time to like have to myself.
Do you do do you subscribe to the get outside and look at the you're
sun
supposed to stare at the
in
sun
the first
for the
90
first
minutes?
10 minutes? Yeah.
Yeah, I try to like. I do find that when I get up and get out, it helps me throughout the day.
Yeah.
Not necessarily in terms of energy, but just in terms of like getting started. You know.
Yeah.
Do you do that? Do you try to look at the sun?
Yeah. I try to do like all the quirky things you see on the internet. Like
What's that guy's name? Andrew
Huberman.
Huberman. Yeah.
Yeah, I listen to all those podcasts, but I don't know like what I retain from it. Like I have so much, I've listened to so many things that now I'm just like back at square one.
Yes.
Like I don't remember anything.
Yeah. It's like
I have
the Three
like
Stooges trying to get through a door.
probably maybe like 50 supplements.
Okay.
That I take.
Okay.
But I have no idea why I take them. It's just
Sure.
at some point.
Somebody convinced
somebody
you.
was like, "Yeah, you should take this."
Some
And,
ad read on a podcast was like, "Do you need Alpha Brain?"
Exactly.
Do you need an extra boost?
I'm the biggest sucker for that stuff.
Oh, me too, dude. I'm always like, Thursday boots. Like, let's see what you got.
Because you can't like put a price on like feeling or like having your brain functioning well. Like if someone tells me like, oh, this is going to help your brain function, it's going to help you remember things and shit like that. I'm like, yeah, any edge I can get.
For me, one of my favorite things about getting older is finding out like the things that work for me and don't.
Yeah.
So I know if I wake up in the morning and I get on my phone, I'm fucked. Like that is really going to fuck me
killer, huh?
For a while.
I'll do that too.
And
it sucks.
It takes me so much longer to get started.
Get the brain into like start mode.
But I love a day where I haven't checked Instagram or Facebook or fucking Reddit if I haven't checked it until 3:30 in the afternoon, like I'm feeling good. You know what I mean? I'm like, I've had a good day today.
What is it about Instagram? I'll go on it and be like, why am I even on here? Like, what am I looking for on here?
You know, I don't even watch people's shit.
Yeah.
Like, I know you post a lot of stand-up clips. You're a fantastic comedian.
Yeah.
You're one of my favorite comedians. I will give you maybe 8 seconds, and I'm just like, oh, this is my friend. I know him. And keep going.
Dude, that's how I am too. Sometimes I'll post shit and it like won't be doing well, and I'm like, I don't like anybody's shit anyway. Like I see a stand-up clip, I'm immediately like, no, seen it.
You don't even like it.
I don't like no. Most
Even
times I don't.
People that you know.
No, maybe some people I know. If
Okay.
I'm like, yeah, I like them, and just maybe keep it moving. But then I'm like, yeah, there's just so much shit on there, and so many people now are trying to be like conscious of not being on Instagram and being like, all right, I don't want to be on this anymore. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just feeding into that, and I'm like, why do I even give a shit?
But you have good content. You have, first of all, I mean, your jokes are great. And your style is very like it translates well to that medium because you can do. I mean, because you have so many jokes, like you can in a 30-second clip, you could possibly do 2 or 3 jokes, right? So I mean, that just works well for you. So I mean, you have great stuff, and you frame it well. You're at off the hook. You've got good clips. Yeah. But some of these, I mean, you've got good sound.
That's the thing. You need sound. You need like quality camera. Like one time is Matt Ross. You know Matt Ross. He had a sick camera that he brought and filmed my set, and I'm like, this is the best.
At Off the Hook.
Yeah. I'm like, these will be my best clips ever, and they all fucking did nothing. That's why it's so tough to like. Sometimes clips will do really well, and I'll be like, nice. I'll be like, all right, I'm getting some momentum, and then another one will just be like,
dude. I mean, sometimes I'm doing it too, and I'm like, oh, this is a fucking banger.
Yeah, this is gonna kill. This is gonna put me on the map.
And then my best clip is me fucking talking about Kanye West, and I'm pretty sure the only reason it did well is because it was like controversial at the time. So it got likes, but that was it.
My best one mentions the Quran, and people go off in the fucking
in the comments.
Comments.
Yeah.
They want to kill me. They want to kill each other. They want to do all this shit.
That's great for the algorithm.
People
love
like
that.
This is amazing. This is great. Until I get murdered.
I posted it on Reddit, and it started something like that. Like people were like, because you can't, I don't say in the clip that I'm Jewish.
Yeah.
So I had people being like, this is anti-Semitic. You're a Nazi. Like all this shit. And then one guy was like, I'm not going to say a fucking thing until somebody asks.
Yeah.
Until somebody asks me, I'm just going to let you do the thing.
Yeah.
Your delivery sucks. Oh, this is just an opinion that everybody had on podcasts 6 months ago. And I'm like, fuck you. All right. And then somebody was like, dude, I hope you're at least half Jewish. And I wrote, I'm actually Jewish. Like I was
like Jewish.
Yeah. I had a bar mitzvah. I have a Hebrew name and everything. And then the guy was like, well, I still can't laugh at it. And I'm like, yes, you can, motherfucker. And he's like, and I wrote like, dude, I've literally done this joke for rooms full of Jewish people. But I did have a girl. Did I tell you that story?
No.
At my last show, at the one that you came to, this girl, after the show, cornered me and was like, you saw me after the show. Like I'm like greeting people. I
left early.
Thanks a lot, motherfucker. You're done. That's it. Your career's over, dude. You left early. Did you have another set?
I forget what I did that night.
Anyway.
Something. Oh, I had to see my ex-girlfriend. She was in town because she had to transfer car title over to me. It was a whole thing.
Jeff Sack.
So I had to see her. We may have. Yeah. I can't remember. It was so long ago.
Yeah, it was last Thursday, dude. What happens in that time? You expect to remember.
That's funny. That's everybody's question.
Yeah.
Like, did you fuck? I was like, That's funny.
I said it like a gentleman. Just
I would
for the
ask the
record.
same question too. I guess that is a.
I was asking not because I want the details of the sexual experience. I was just wondering what the state of your relationship is.
Well, it started off not great.
Yeah.
And then it got better.
Nice.
So
it was friends.
great. Yeah, but by the end, I think we were cool.
But she's moved back home. She's moved.
Yeah, she lives in New York.
She moved back to New York.
Yeah.
All right.
Which is for the best.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Out of sight. Out
Absolutely,
of mind.
definitely. I have never been that guy that's like gonna show up to your fucking house with like flowers and be like, please, give me another chance. I am like, when you say it's done, I'm not. You're not gonna fucking hear from me. Right. I'm not gonna text you. And it's funny that my
last chance with the
video.
If it doesn't work,
audio
fuck
only.
it, people. Yeah, you're just gonna have to hear our sexy
sensual voices.
Just imagine a good-looking tandem.
Yeah,
you know that might actually be
bald
better.
dudes with beards.
Yeah, you're right. I feel like there's a good amount of. Sometimes there'll be like 3 of us on a lineup, and it's like, there's too many bald dudes with beards right now. I think there needs to be like a maximum, you know.
But the thing is, dude, is like when did you lose your hair?
Good question. Probably around like 30.
Okay, how old are you now?
36.
Oh wow, you look great.
Thank you.
I started losing. I was like 25, and I fucking held on for dear life.
I did too.
Until the pandemic, which I mean, literally in a couple months, like this entire thing got gray.
Yeah.
And then just this was like, because I was just like, I have a barber who would make it work
as much as possible.
And I just eventually one day I was like, fuck it, and I just, because I hadn't had a haircut in so long.
Yeah.
And I just went, and I just shaved it off, and I was like, okay,
it's very liberating.
I don't hate it.
Yeah,
and
we
then
got good shaped heads too.
Yeah, good shaped heads, and also shaving your head is so much easier than shaving your face because your skin is insensitive.
Yeah,
and the hair is thinner, so it's easy to shave your head. You do it in 10 minutes.
It's nice.
And like, yeah, dude, the thing is I just realized I became a type of dude now. Yeah, like we're just like the bald dude with the beard.
Right.
You know, like I just became like a type.
Yeah.
Which took me a while to
deal
with.
It is weird to like be that person because it's always like growing up, you're like, those people are kind of scary. They ride motorcycles. They're fucking.
Dude,
they're kind of intimidating.
No idea the shit that people think I do. Like I was on a date one time with a girl. She asked me if I did porn. And I'm like, well, if you've seen my dick, you would know that I have not ever done porn at all.
You're like, yeah, let me show you.
And
this
like,
is not a porn dick.
We used to do Sweet Carolines. I don't think you were here for Sweet Carolines, but I would stand in front of Sweet Carolines, and if I was wearing a black shirt, just IDs, everyone is just constantly.
I can see that.
I did it one time. I get so done with it. I did it one time. I was like, I'm not the bouncer. But one time I was standing in front of Gramps, and I'm standing there, and these kids, like 21, they just start handing me their IDs, and I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna see how long I can take this. So I just start like a good 15, 20 seconds.
They're probably real
the other ones behind them all have they're like go like
when people are underage, when they're like it's just so obvious when people are underage because when you're that age you're just so like be like, okay, play it cool.
But when you're not, it's just like, let's get this fucking over with, dude. I want to get in. And and I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm not the bouncer. Like, the bouncer was behind me, watching, laughing, dude. He was like, fuck, dude, that's so funny. They all laughed, and I was like, that was a great bit, but it could have instantly gone wrong with the bouncer got pissed at it. But I did it. I've been a bouncer a couple times.
Yeah,
like at private parties.
Yeah, because it's harder for you because you like as a big guy when you're bald with a beard, you're kind of. People just assume you're intimidating, but also people probably won't fuck with you, That
is a nice feature. I will say it is nice. So, I mean, I mean, it's crazy because like whenever I am in a place like that, I always make a point to find the security people and like just make eye contact with them and just give them like a nod, which is like,
I'm cool.
I am not going to fuck with anybody.
Yeah.
Like I appreciate you and I am not into any of that shit. But my dad always told me, he was like, listen, dude, my dad was in the military and all that stuff. So my dad was like obsessed with like fucking self-defense and defending your home and shit like that. My dad's a gunsmith that's what he does for work. So
it's pretty sick.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It did give me a ton of knowledge that's not necessarily common, which it took me a long time to realize because I was just like the fucking gun nerd in high school, which is not cool. Like you don't want to be that kid. But like, yeah, I just knew, and still to this day, I just have a lot of that knowledge. But my dad always would say like, he's like, listen, dude, I was a gigantic baby and kid, right? So my dad was like, you're going to be a big guy. When you get older, you're going to be big, right? So not a lot of people, it's going to avoid 98% of dudes that would fuck with other dudes.
Right.
But those 2%, you need to be very, very cautious of.
Because they're pretty bold if they're coming after.
He said they're either drunk or fucked up. Something's wrong with their head, right? Something's wrong with their decision making, which makes them.
It's like when you go into prison and you fight the biggest guy.
Yes.
You're that guy.
Yes, exactly.
You know? So people are
right.
like, if I can fuck
That's
up
exactly
this guy,
right. So because some people do want to fucking take a shot at the big guy.
You're like
that
the
is
final level boss. If they're like, I can fuck up this guy.
Dude, I should fucking go out for a prison movie because I'd get that part.
Easily.
I also feel like I could go out and get killed by John Wick. I feel like that would be a good role for me.
You could be like a Russian bad guy.
Anything. Just bouncer, biker, construction dude. And then my dad said either the guys are crazy or they know how to fuck you up. Like they're like a trained boxer or something like that.
Right.
So
they can only have fun. They can only get off by fucking up something.
So he was like, be very cautious of anyone that ever tries to like fuck with you.
Yeah, because they're hiding something.
But I am very good at not getting into conflict. I am especially out because I'm so wide, right? I hate crowded bars, right? Like fun. Let's go have fun.
Yeah.
And I walk into fucking Gramps and I can't move. I'm like, I gotta get the fuck out of here because I bang into people. I hate feeling too big for the space. But I'm that person, like, if I bump you, I'm instantly like, oh, dude, my bad.
Yeah.
Or this is a great trick that I've learned, and you can take this too, which is that, like, listen, I like to look at women. It's a thing that I enjoy.
Pig.
And when I was younger, this happened to me where a dude noticed that I was looking at his girlfriend.
That's a lot of looking to get noticed.
Oh, I was not aware of just how large I am, and just like, some people might call it charisma, but at the time I felt big, but I wanted not to be seen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You
felt like you were invisible.
Correct.
So I've done a lot of staring, and I've never got called out, but also I have low
radar.
Yeah, radar, so nobody knows.
And I learned this trick where she was like, I'm sorry, dude, she just looks exactly like my sister.
There you go.
And instantly done. Like, gone. Just no more attention.
And then you're like, yeah, my sister's so hot.
And I was like, what the fuck is my sister doing? She's dead. I don't have a sister, by the way. But yeah, just like a little trick. So
but if you did, she'd be smoking hot, probably.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm trying to think about how my brother is, and if my brother was a girl, would I fuck him?
Like? Yeah.
This is assuming I wouldn't fuck my brother now.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, my brother's a pretty smoking hot dude, man. What can I say?
Well, how big were you when you came out of the womb?
I think I was like a normal sized baby, like probably like 8 pounds, I think. But like when I started to just like be like, if you see me at 3 months with another 3-month-old baby, I was like, did you ever see that movie Twins with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito? You remember in the beginning when it's like one of them is like this? That was me. Yeah. Like I was just like a fucking giant kid. And like when I was 4, I was like this and the other kids were here. So I was just a fucking big kid. As a matter of fact, I was so big that they were worried that I was going to stop growing. Like I had to go to an endocrinologist to basically like make sure I was going to keep growing and not stop at like 5'3".
Yeah.
So they had to monitor me. But yeah, it was in my mind, I was like, I wanted to be 6'6", because I love Michael Jordan. So I always wanted to be 6'6".
Same.
Because I wanted to play basketball when I was a kid.
Who didn't, dude?
Fuck, dude, it was a great time to grow up. Right?
I did think I was going to be Michael Jordan when I got older.
Did you play sports?
Came up just short. I played hoops.
You played basketball?
Yeah.
Yeah. In high school?
In college.
Oh, really? Where'd you go to college?
Duke.
You played?
No,
fuck off.
Well,
that was good, man.
I'm happy that you were convinced about that.
I mean, listen, dude.
For a second, you believed it.
The thing is, man, is like I grew up in Miami, man. I know athletes. You know what I mean? So it's not
at Westfield State. It's Westfield, small little Division III school in Springfield, Massachusetts.
Fuck yeah, dude. That's fun. I bet it was a great time.
That was a great time.
Yeah, so you have to pay. You have to pay for college, though.
Yeah,
yeah. That's the part of. That's the thing about Division III, man. Is there's no fucking scholarship. No. So it's fun. But you play point guard?
Yeah,
nice. Could you jump?
Yeah, I couldn't shoot for shit. But I couldn't jump.
Pass.
Yeah, I could just dish.
Fuck yeah. And you still play?
Not really. I play in a soccer league right now.
Yeah, dude. What's up with your soccer? Do you get hurt?
No.
No?
Why?
I'm just so anytime anyone's like, dude, you want to go to the park and play?
Oh, this is it's actually a LGBTQ league. I don't know why.
Are you fucking with me again, or is that
no?
for real?
I swear to God,
dude,
it
that is so good.
So it's co-ed and it's gay. So it's like
amazing. So
yeah.
you're just the fucking star of the fucking show. Oh, I love it, dude.
No, there's some good kids in it.
Yeah.
But it's
where do you go?
It's in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
And my buddy that I grew up playing soccer with, he lives out in Fort Lauderdale.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's
he's
a,
in a league.
huge
He's like, you want to play?
soccer
I was like, yeah.
place, by the way.
Oh,
Like,
it's awesome.
I had a buddy who's he's from Philly, and apparently like soccer up in the Northeast is like a very big deal. And he came down here, and his little brother ended up playing for this just like a club soccer league for kids. The coach was like Maradona's wingman for the Argentinian national team.
Yeah.
Like he was like he looked like Maradona. Like I saw him, I was like, holy shit. But like they take that shit for real in
life.
South Florida. Like it's a
life.
big deal.
Dude, I played in a co-ed league back in Boston with a girl I was dating. We played on the same team, and that would get intense. It was like it was co-ed, but it was also like people took it pretty seriously.
Fuck yeah.
And one time she got decked by like a dude.
Oof.
And I didn't come to her rescue. I was just like, yeah, keep playing. And it was not good after that.
No, was that the end?
No, it wasn't the end.
But was it the beginning of the end?
It showed my, it kind of showed
what
where
the
I was.
fuck, dude? See, this is the thing, and I don't know if this is an unpopular
I hadn't
opinion,
been listening to my Andrew Tate at that point.
but a lot of masculine shit, like we're talking about fighting over girls,
Yeah.
a lot of that is perpetuated by women. And I don't know if people
she
want to
took a
hear
dive,
that shit,
dude.
but like a lot of girls want men to fight over them, or like, dude,
Show some passion.
I've been called a faggot by women.
By me when
many.
you walked in here today. So.
Yeah, dude.
Under my
Was that you shouting from the balcony, dude? Was that you? But like, dude, like a pussy, a faggot,
Yeah.
like from women.
Dude, women are ruthless. Yeah, because they don't have anybody to check them, so
Right.
they can kind of go around saying whatever crazy shit they want to say, and nobody really stops them. Their
Dude.
girls aren't going to be like, hey, don't say that.
I had a girlfriend one time. She went, "Nobody told you to start crying," and I was like, "Are you a fucking psychopath?"
That's a great line.
Like, I was like, "Are you a real human being?"
Like, does somebody have to tell me to start crying?
Like, I'm sorry, I'm a fucking like sensitive. Like, fuck you.
That is funny though.
She
If
punched
she's like,
me in the face,
If
like-
she's like, okay, start crying now.
Yeah.
So she punched you, and then you were
No. It wasn't
These are two
that. That
separate
was it was a
incidences?
separate incident. Yeah, she punched me in the face. It was another time I've been punched in the face. Sorry, I've been punched in the face twice. Yeah, she punched me in the face, and then accused me of throwing her down the stairs one time. That was fun.
Dude, that's a tough one because it's like, no, you can't win in a fight with a chick.
No,
Like,
because
the only thing you can do is just sit there and take it and be like, oh, hopefully she's not that strong.
she was, dude. She was fucking half Israeli, dude. She fucking
Oh.
yeah, dude. Fucking
That's the other
black
thing.
eye.
Like
Yeah,
they
it's
know
like-
they can get away. Like they're daring you to touch them because if you do, you're so fucked.
I mean,
even if you don't, you're kind of fucked.
It would never occur to me to do something like that. But just like, yeah, like even this thing of like, stay away from me.
Right.
That's
That
how
could
she fell
count.
down the stairs, right? Because she was
Right.
fucking coming at me and I'm down the stairs.
Yeah.
And she's coming from the top and I'm like fucking thinking she loses her balance.
Right.
And starts, and I'm like, fuck, what are you doing?
You can't win. You just gotta run as fast as you can.
Dude, that shit sucked, man. I remember like just thinking about it in slow motion, like as she's like, I'm like watching her go down and I'm
Yeah,
like,
be like,
oh my
I'm
God, dude, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm
That's it
fucked.
for me.
Yeah, because you there's nothing you can do. You just have to sit there and take it. So when we get charges pressed against us, we'll go back to this tape and be like, see, we
talked about
we
it, dude.
said we would never do that.
This is my proof. This is the evidence. Please go back to Chris Kinback's podcast. I
The
exonerated
judge is like,
myself.
I have seen that pod.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a big
Chris.
fan. Oh yeah, I did
The
see
Beard
that
Boys?
episode.
Oh, dude, that's you? You know, what are you going to do?
But yeah, so the Jewish girl that approached you after the
Jewish
show,
girl
that's
that
where we
approached me.
cut off last time.
Right. So basically, she was just like, you're propagating stereotypes about Jewish people that aren't true. She was like, you know, your jokes about Jews being rich and complainers, and she's like, they're not true. And in my mind, I'm like, are you complaining about the Jewish complaining jokes that I have?
You rich bitch.
And I said, listen, for me, that was true for me, right? Like, I was born not into outrageously wealthy family, but I was born into a decent family, right? Like my family owned a business that was very successful. It's not like that anymore, but like I was born wealthy. I was
Right.
born a wealthy Jewish kid in Miami. Like I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry if that wasn't the case for you, but like it's true for me, and it was true for most of the kids that I went to Jewish private school with.
Right.
You know, like I went to school with the kid whose dad invented the Xbox, right? So like you go, like one of the kids would be like, "Where is Michelle?" And they'd be like, "Oh, her dad took them on the jet last night just as a whim, and they're in Australia." So I was like, that's kind of who I got made fun of one time for my house, which is now worth like it wasn't at the time, but
Yeah.
I grew up in, you know, Pinecrest?
No.
It's down south. It's where I grew up. I grew up
Yeah.
in Pinecrest. Don't hold it against me. But yeah, like I lived in Pinecrest. It's not a poor neighborhood. And my
Right.
friend dropped me off at home one time, and when I came back to school, was like telling the other Jewish kids how much of a piece of shit my house was.
Yeah, like what a loser.
And I
this
was
guy
like,
is. What?
Because
He's probably
he lived
not
in
even
Cocoa
Jewish.
Plum. He lived in the fucking. Do you know what Cocoa Plum
no.
is? Cocoa Plum is this it's
Sounds
a
amazing.
gated community down in Pinecrest area, Coral
Yeah.
Gables. That is just like, I mean, houses that you can't comprehend them until you go inside.
Right.
Like there was one house that I went in that you would walk up the stairs, and you know how like on the landing when you turn around, that was an entire bed. Like there was a room on the land. Like you would go in and there was bedrooms there, elevator. Like just crazy shit. You look in the back, there's a yacht with the family's like name on the side.
It reminds me of this place, dude.
This is a great spot though, dude.
similar.
This is a great neighborhood. Do you like it here?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Love it, dude.
You right?
I got my own little island.
Fuck yeah. And you got that view, man.
And the gates go, like the little drawbridges go up.
Yeah.
If there's ever shit that goes down and those drawbridges go up, we're fucked.
You're
We're stuck
fucked.
here.
Well, Miami is mostly fucked, and that's
true. We're
dude,
all
I got
fucked.
evacuated
People be wanting to come
during a
over here.
hurricane one time, not that long ago, like 5 years ago. It took me 11 hours to get to Orlando, which is a 3-hour drive. 11 hours.
That must be pretty cool when they gotta like evacuate everybody. You're like, all right, if we don't get out of here, we're gonna die. That'd be pretty wild.
I wasn't worried about dying necessarily. I
was like, oh, all my shit's gonna get
exactly.
ruined.
I was worried about my house because they did a model because it was right after Hurricane Harvey that hit Houston,
Yeah,
and this was Hurricane Irma. So they were worried.
crazy. All these hurricanes that like we never even heard of. I never even heard of these.
Dude, and well, you know, Katrina obviously fucked up New Orleans, but
Yeah.
it came here first. Like people don't really remember that like Katrina it passed us. I think it was a 3 or a 4, and we were without power for like 2 weeks, right? So there was no school for
And
2
you guys
weeks.
were like, watch out, New Orleans. This thing's
well,
gonna be.
we knew, like,
brutal.
yeah, we were like, fuck, you know, that sucks. And then another hurricane came, like, I think it was 2 weeks without power, then maybe 2 or 3 weeks back to normal, and then another hurricane came and took out the power again for like another 10 days. So basically, we didn't have school for like a month.
So it's
that was
not
2005.
It's not all.
That was pretty fun, dude. I will say that was pretty fun. But yeah, dude, we like
It's not all sunshine out here, people.
no.
They
Go
have-
back to fucking.
They have some
not
rough.
you.
They
but
have some rough times out here.
go back to fucking New York, everybody.
Yeah.
Not you though. You stay.
So this girl probably didn't understand logic. She probably can't understand like, hey, stereotypes are kind of what makes things funny, even if they're not true. If people understand that it's a stereotype, they're like, okay, I can get it.
As
And
she's
that's-
talking to me, dude, like I'm literally remembering Mel Brooks dressed up like Hitler,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, what the fuck do you think we're doing here? Like
Yeah.
we're just making fun of everybody, and it's fun. I spoke to a comedian. I spoke to a Jewish comedian about it. She's been doing comedy for a long time. You might know her. Hani Lisbon. Do you know her?
No,
She's
sounds
in
Jewish.
New York. She's very Jewish. But I asked her, I was like, what do you think about that? And she was like, listen, she was either trying to flirt with you and didn't know how.
Yeah.
Or she just has some, like, that was therapy for her. Like, she doesn't know how to regulate her emotions.
A lot of people don't get out much either, so
Right.
it's like that could be it. She's like, yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe she's sick of seeing it too. Like maybe she's like, yeah,
That's fair. I mean,
I've
what she
seen-
said that the only thing that she said that fucked me up was that it wasn't funny. And I was like, fuck you. It was
yeah.
funny.
Be
Everybody
like,
was
shut
laughing.
up. Right? Because at that point now she's just being a bitch. If like the joke did well, it's like you don't get to decide if it was. Funny
It
or
wasn't
not.
funny to you. Comedy
Right.
is subjective, right? Like it is a personal experience for you. But also, I'm sure you've dealt with this many times. How long have you been doing comedy?
6 years.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So a lot of people their narcissism cannot deal with the fact that they're not getting the attention in a show. So they have to do something to regulate. A lot of it takes the form of heckling, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of hecklers are just like people who don't have the balls to do comedy. And those are the
They
want
wanna do it,
Have you ever
yeah.
had these people that come up to you and they're like, dude, I was helping the show.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck you. All right. This is one of my favorite things to say to those people is like, this was my whole day. Like my whole day has been like, okay, I have to go to work, go home, shower, get dressed, rehearse, and then go to my show. Like this is my whole day. This is
Right.
15 minutes for you.
Yeah.
Like you just waltzed in here
Right.
and then forget the fucking years of like eating dick to get to the
Right,
point where I can
right.
even get laughs.
Right.
But just like, fuck off. Like this moment is not for you. Somebody else takes the time. Like we earned
Yeah,
it.
that's what I hate. I also hate at the end of shows where people be like, "That you were my favorite. This person was my favorite." I'm like, who gives a shit?
Right.
They always have to do it too. Every show has to, like, I've had it many times where you're standing next to a comic, they'll go up to that comic and be like,
Oh,
"You were
dude,
my
I
favorite."
hate
I'm
that
like,
shit.
I'm right here.
Yeah.
I
And you did good too. I'm like, shut the fuck up. No, I didn't.
Yeah, I told this I think last podcast, but I was walking out of Miami Improv just with the crowd. I did a show there. There was probably like 5 comics on it. I went up second. I'm walking out, and like an older guy is like, "Yeah, I liked all of them, but the second guy did not like at all." He didn't know I was there. 'Cause I was walking out with the crowd. I'm like, "Did you have to say that right now with me right here?"
Just can't wait for the car ride home.
And then I was like, "Yeah, I think I was second. I'm pretty sure." I have to like think about it. I'm like, "Oh, that's me he's talking about."
But did that drive you to be better?
I don't know. It happened like a week ago, so I don't know if I've improved much.
Well, I'll
since
let
then.
you know in a month how that goes.
But yeah, it's just funny how people like have to say, like, you can't even fault them for it because I'm sure I've done that too at shows. Be like, "Yeah, I like this one, didn't like this one."
I'll
But
be
it's like-
honest, dude. I hate most comedians. Like, I like them as people, but like, there's not a lot of us that are like, when I'm watching them, I will be in the back laughing.
Right.
Like, there is a very select few comedians, dude. And don't get me wrong, like, I love them as people. Their jokes are funny. Like, I can tell that the joke is structured well, it's written well, it's delivered well.
Right.
It's just for whatever reason, it's just not my
Yeah, it doesn't tickle you.
comedy. You make me laugh. There's a couple people that really just get me. And I'm not going to go up to anybody and just be like, "Yeah, you suck." Like,
Yeah.
it's not for me.
You weren't my favorite,
Right.
Dude, there's a couple guys in New York. I remember they weren't necessarily the ones that would like do the best, but they would just be so funny to me, and they were
Yes.
like my favorite comics.
Sure.
There's one guy that I'll have to show you some of his stuff, but he like dances and sings on stage, and he like beats the microphone while he's doing it, he like humps, and it's just so goddamn funny for some reason. And I've been at shows where he's like bombing, and I'm
Yes.
losing my mind because the crowd. I'm just like, how do they not get this,
Dude, do you know Dave Rosinski?
I don't know.
He was from New York. He's a New York comic, but
Yeah.
he moved down here. He lives up Sunny Isles Beach, so not super far from here.
Yeah.
But I mean, dude, we were on a show together this weekend, and I was crying. Like, I was like, this is some of the funniest shit. Stupid joke, like,
Of
it's,
course.
you know, just being a dog whisperer and whispering into the dog's ear, "Fuck you," dude. I don't know what it was, man, but just something. It was just so fucking funny. Sebastian, who was at the show at the Globe last week, Sebastian Rodriguez,
Yes.
him, dude,
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
so
very funny.
fucking funny, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's just something about certain people.
Yeah,
and it's a
they
subjective
tickle you.
thing. Like, it's a fucking, not everybody has to like everything.
Right.
But what that comic told me, what Hani told me is that, like, if you're not pissing people off, you're not trying hard enough. Like,
Right.
you're not out in front of enough people, which I love. I love that because I've always kind of thought that, you know, like, if you're not willing to piss people off, which I tell Aaron all the time, because Aaron, we write jokes and he's like, "Oh, it's a funny ass joke," and I'm like, "Dude, this is a great joke," and he's like, I can't because it'll upset people," and I'm like, "Good,
Yeah,
like,
that's the
get a
fun.
fucking reaction out of
Right.
people. That's the whole point of this."
It's always the people in the crowd. Like, you could be doing great, but then you'll see somebody's face that's like not enjoying it.
Yeah.
And that's the one that like gets you. You're like, how does this motherfucker? That's all you can think about. Is like, how did I not get that? Like, what's wrong with that person? How do they not get that these are jokes?
I always just tell myself that they're just not enjoying the whole show, and it's not just me.